Hi everyone! So for today's video, I'm gonna be sharing with you how I filled up this Form I-485 or the application to register permanent residence or adjust status. So I just got approved after less than 4 months of filing my AOS, and I think it's safe for me to share with you how I filled up my form. So for this video, I'm gonna be using this edition which expires this March 31, 2023. Since this is the one that I use for mine. So yeah, let's start. Let's start for this. So start here. Type or print in black ink. So A number, so for this, you have to input your A number, which is located on your NOAA 2 if I'm not mistaken. It is on top of the beneficiary's name. So you just have to fill this up with your A number. And then, note to all applicants, if you do not completely fill out this application or fail to submit required documents listed in the instruction, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services (USCIS) may deny your application. So for part 1, information about you, person applying for lawful permanent residence. So your current legal name, do not provide a nickname. So for this ones, so this is not my real name. This is just for example. And what I use here is my married name. So just input your married name here. And then other names you have used since birth if applicable. Note, provide all other names you have ever used, including your family name at birth, other legal names, nicknames, aliases, and assumed names. If you need extra space to complete this section, use the space provided in Part 14 additional information. So for this one, I use my maiden name here. I put my maiden name here or my single name. And then for the next part, this 3A, 3B, and 3C, if you have any other names aside from those two, you just have to fill this in. And if none, just put NA. In my case, I just put NA or not applicable for these spaces. And then for other information about you, number 5, date of birth, month, day, and year. So just have to input your birthday here. Then note, in addition to providing your actual date of birth, include any other dates of birth you have used in connection with any legal names or non-legal names in the space provided in Part 14 additional information. So if you have any other birthdays, you have to put it on part 14 additional information. So number 6 is sex is female. Number 7 is city or town of birth. In my case, I put the Batangas city here. Then for page 2, again, don't forget to fill this out, the A number. So on my case, I can't fill this out using my computer. So if I can't fill this out using my computer, what I did is I just use black pen to fill this out. So just fill this out. And then part 1, information about you. Person applying for lawful permanent residence continued. Number 8, country of birth is Philippines. And then number 9, country of citizenship or nationality. Put Philippines here again. And then number 10, alien registration number or A number if any. Again, this is located on your NOAA 2. It is on top of your name or the beneficiary's name. So note, if you have ever used other A numbers, including the additional A numbers in the space provided in Part 14 additional information. So number 11, USCIS online account number if any. So if you have online account number, you can put it here. In my case, I don't have any, so I just put NA here again. And then for this one, US mailing address in care of if any. So you can put your name here or just leave it blank. And then 12B, street number and name. So just put your US address here on this section. And then for this next one is alternate and or safe mailing address. So this is applying for those who are based on VAWA or Violence Against Women Act, or as a special immigrant juvenile, human trafficking victim T non-immigrant, or victim of a qualifying crime U non-immigrant, and you do not want USCIS to send notices about this application to your home, you may provide an alternative and or safe mailing address. So in my case, I just put NA here since this doesn't apply to me. And then for the next one, the Social Security card. Has the Social Security Administration or SSA ever officially issued a Social Security card to you? So my answer here is yes, since I already have my SSN or the Social Security number. So if you answered yes, provide the information requested in item number 15. Provide your US Social Security number. So you just have to provide your Social Security number here if you have it already, and if you doesn't have it yet, so just tick no here. And yeah. And then number 16, do you want the SSA to issue you a social security card? You must also answer yes to item number 17, consent for disclosure to receive a card. So since my answer here is yes, and I already have my social security number, I just tick no here and no here. But if you don't have any social security card yet, you can tick yes here. So recent immigration history. Provide the information for item numbers 18 to 24. If you last entered the United States using a passport or travel document. So number 18, your passport number used at last arrival. So you can find this on your passport on your bio page. So for 19, a travel document number used at last arrival. So I just put NA here, and then number 20, expiration date of this passport or travel document. So you just have to put your expiration date of your passport here. And then number 21, country that issued this passport or travel document. So Philippines for me. And then 22, non-immigrant visa number from this passport, if any. So this one is located on your K1 visa, or if you have any other visa, this is the red one on my K1 visa. So you just have to put it here, and then place of last arrival in the United States. 23A, city or town. So I have a direct flight from Manila to San Francisco. So San Francisco here, and then the state is California, and then date of last arrival. So just put it here. This is also located on your I-94. You can see it on your I-94. So for page 3, again, don't forget to fill this out, the A number, which is located on your NOAA 2, on top of your beneficiary's name. So part 1, information about you. Person applying for lawful permanent residence continued. When I last arrived in the United States, I, number 25A, was inspected at the port of entry and admitted as, for example, exchange visitors, visitor wave through, temporary worker, and student. So I was inspected at the port of entry and admitted as K1 visa holder. So just select this, and then I put the K1 visa holder here. And since I can't input it using my computer, I just use a black pen for this one to write the K1 visa holder here. And then just skip this. So if you were issued a Form I-94, Arrival Departure Record Number, Form I-94, Arrival Departure Record Number, you just have to provide it here, and then expiration date of authorized stay shown on Form I-94. So you can see this on your I-94 as well. And then status on Form I-94, for example, class of admission, paroled if paroled. So K1 here. And then what is your current immigration status if it has changed since your arrival. So since I am still on a K1 visa, I just put K1 visa here and it haven't changed yet. And provide your name exactly as it appears on your Form I-94 if any. So in my case, this is my single name. This is still on my single name, and on my I-94 I don't have any middle name written on it, so I just leave this blank. So part 2, application type or filing category. Note, attach a copy of Form I-797 receipt or approval notice for the underlying petition or application as appropriate. I am applying to register lawful permanent residence or adjust status to that of a lawful permanent residence based on the following immigration category. Select only one box. See the Form I-485 instruction for more information, including any additional instructions that related to the immigrant category you select. So for this one, since I got here on a K1 visa, so I am on a number 1A family-based person admitted to the United States as a fiancé or child of a fiancé of a U.S. citizen, Form I-129F or K1, K2 non-immigrant. So this is what I selected since I got here on a K1 visa. And then this doesn't apply to me, so I just skip it. And then for page 4, again, don't forget to fill this up, the A number. And then part 2, application type or filing category. So this doesn't apply to me as well, the 1F and the 1G. So I just skip it. And then for number 2, are you applying for adjustment based on Immigration and Nationality Act or INA Section 245I? So for this one, I had a hard time if I should choose yes or no because some other videos that I have watched, they chose yes and some chose no. So I chose no for me, and then if you chose yes, you have to fill out the rest of this application and supplement A. So I read this supplement A as well, and I think it doesn't apply to me, so I just tick no here as a K1 visa. And then for the next one is information about your immigrant category. If you are the principal applicant, provide the following information: receipt number of underlying petition. So this one is the one that starts with WAC if you are in a K1 visa. So it is located on your NOAA 1 or NOAA 2 if I'm not mistaken. And then number 4, priority date from underlying petition if any. So you can see this as well on your NOAA 1 and NOAA 2 as a receive date. So if you are a derivative applicant, the spouse or unmarried child under 21 years of age of a principal applicant, provide the following information for the principal applicant. So since I am not a derivative applicant, just put NA here, skip that, and then for part 3 is additional information about you. Have you ever applied for an immigrant visa to obtain permanent resident status at a U.S. embassy or U.S. consulate abroad? So I have never, so I just selected no here, and then if you answered yes to items number 1, complete items number 2A to 4 below. If you need extra space to complete this section, use the space provided in part 14 additional information. So since I selected no here, this is not applicable to me. So I just put NA there. And then for the next page is, again, don't forget to fill this up, the A number. So part 3, additional information about you. Address history. Provide physical addresses for everywhere you have lived during the last 5 years, whether inside or outside the United States. Provide your current address first. If you need extra space to complete this section, use the space provided in Part 14 additional information. So your physical address 1 or your current address. So this one is your address right now here in the US. So you have to fill this up. So your street number and name, and then city or town, the state and the zip code, and then the country is USA, and then date of residence is, for me, example is from July 15, 2022 up to present, and then your physical address number 2. So this is your other addresses that you have lived. So for me, it's in Batangas. So I just put my Batangas address here, and then city or town, and then zip code, province, and the country is Philippines. And then date of residence from and to. So from and to. And then the next one is if you have any other, or provide your most recent address outside the United States where you live for more than a year if not listed above. So if you have any other recent addresses outside the United States that you have lived for more than a year, just have to fill this up again. In my case, I just put NA since I don't have any more addresses. So employment history. Provide your employment history for the last 5 years, whether inside or outside the United States. Provide the most recent employment first. If you need extra space to provide this section, use the space provided in Part 14 additional information. So for the employer one is the current or the most recent one. So you just have to fill this in with your name of the employer or the company, and then the address, city, and then zip code, and then province, and then country, and then your occupation there or your position. So circuit design engineer, for example. And then additional information about you. So dates of employment. So from and to what date you were working on that company. And then for the next one is your employer number 2. If you have any more, in my case, I don't have any more employer or company since I just work on a one company before I got here. So put NA here. But if you have any more other company that you have worked for the last 5 years, you have to input it in here. So yeah, and again, just put NA here if you don't have any more company or work. And then for part 4, information about your parents, information about your parent one. So for this one, parent one legal name is, I put my dad's name here, his details, and then parent one's name at birth. So since my dad never changed his name, so just put NA here, and then his date of birth here, and then sex is female, and then city or town of birth is Batangas City, country of birth is Philippines. So for page 7, again, don't forget to fill this up, the A number, which is located on your know what to, on top of the beneficiary's name. So part 4, information about your parents, so your current city or town of residence of your dad. So since that's the first one that you uh, filled it up. So Batangas City again, and then Philippines. So information about your parent too, which is details about my mom. So this is what uh, I filled out. So this is her married name, and then this one is her maiden name or her single name. And then date of birth is just put it here and then select the sex, female, and then city or town of birth is Batangas City, country of birth is Philippines, current city or town of residence if living is Batangas City, and then current or country of residence if living is Philippines. So, information about your marital history. What is your current marital history? So, married, and then if you are married, is your spouse a current member of the U.S. Armed Forces or U.S. Coast Guard? So, no, since my husband is not. So, how many times have you been married, including annulled marriages and marriages to the same person? So, this is my first marriage. So, just put one here. I have never been married before. So, information about your current uh, marriage, including if you are legally separated. If you are currently married, provide the following information about your current spouse. Current spouse legal name. So you just have to put your husband's or wife's name here. And then a number if any, since my husband is American from birth. So just put NA here. And then current spouse date of birth. So this is his birthday. And then date of marriage to current spouse. So this is the date of your wedding. Just put it there, and then current spouse place of birth. So just have to put the place of birth of your husband here or your wife, the city or town, the state or province, and then country is USA. Then place of marriage to current spouse. So where did you get married? So you just have to fill this up again. So San Francisco, California, USA. So this is just example. Is your current spouse applying with you? So my answer here is no, since he is already a US citizen. So a number, don't forget to fill this up again. And then for Part 5, information about your marital history continued. Information about prior marriages, if any, if you have been married before, whether in the United States or in any other country, provide the following information about your prior spouse. If you have had more than one previous marriage, use the space provided in Part 14 additional information to provide the information below. Prior spouse legal name, provide family name before marriage. So since this is my first marriage and I have never been married before, so I just put not applicable here and not applicable here as well on the place of marriage to prior spouse. So both of us is this is our first marriage. So just put NA there, and then part 6, information about your children. Indicate the total number of all living children, including adult sons and daughters that you have. Note, the term children includes all biological or legally adopted children, as well as current stepchildren or of any age, whether born in the United States or other countries, married or unmarried, living with you or elsewhere, and includes any missing children and those born to you outside of marriage. So since we don't have any children yet, I just put 0 there. So provide the following information for each of your children. If you have more than 3 children, use the space provided in Part 14 additional information. In our case, we just put NA here since we don't have a child yet. But if you have a child, you have to fill this up. The family name, given name, middle name, a number if any, and then date of birth, country of birth. And then yeah, just fill this up if you have any child. So child 2. And if you have more than 3 child, you can use the part 14 or the page 14 for additional information. So just put NA there if you don't have any children yet. So sa part 7, biographic information. So number 1, ethnicity, Hispanic or Latino, not Hispanic or Latino. So since I'm Filipino, so I just take not Hispanic or Latino here. So number 2, race is Asian, and then number 3 is height. Just put your height here and your weight here. And then eye color is black. And then hair color, select only one box. So black. So part 8, general eligibility and inadmissibility grounds. Number 1, have you ever been a member of, involved in, or in any associated with any organization, association, fund, foundation, party, club, society, or similar group in the United States or in any other location in the world, including any military service? So my answer here is no, since I've never been involved or member of any organization. So if you answered yes to item number 1, complete items number 2 to 13B. Below, if you need extra space to complete this section, use the space provided in Part 14 additional information. If you answered no but unsure of your answer, provide an explanation of the events and circumstances in the space provided in Part 14 additional information. So you just have to put your organization 1 here if you have any. In my case, I don't have. So I just put NA here or not applicable, and then organization 2 is not applicable as well. And again, don't forget to fill this up, the A number which is located in your know what to on top of the beneficiary's name. So part 8, general eligibility and inadmissibility grounds. So just skip this one, and then organization is put NA there again since it's not applicable to me. And then answer item numbers 14 to 80B. Choose the answer that you think is correct. If you answer yes to any questions, or if you answer no but are unsure of your answer, provide an explanation of the events and circumstances in the space provided in Part 14 additional information. So this is a lot of questions here. You have to carefully read it. If applies to you, just tick yes, and then if it doesn't, just tick no. So you just have to carefully read this. It's all about uh this one. Number 14, have you ever been denied admission to the United States? So my answer is no. Have you ever been denied have you ever been denied a visa to the United States? So no. So this is my first K1 visa and I've never been applied before. So number 16, have you ever worked in the United States without authorization? So no. Have you ever violated the terms or conditions of your non-immigrant status? So no. Are you presently or have you ever been in removal, exclusion, rescission, or deportation proceedings? So no. Have you ever been issued a final order of exclusion, deportation, or removal? So my answer there is no as well. And then let's see. So the next one is, have you ever had a prior final order of exclusion, deportation, or removal reinstatement? So no. Have you ever held lawful permanent resident status which was later rescinded? So no. Have you ever been granted voluntarily departure by an immigration officer or an immigration judge but failed to depart within the allotted time? So no. Have you ever applied for any kind of relief or protection from removal, exclusion, or deportation? So no. Have you ever been a J non-immigrant exchange visitor who was subject to a 2-year foreign residence requirement? So my answer is no. So for this one, since you have if you answered yes to items number 24A, you complete item number 24B to C. If you answered no to item number 24A, skip to item number 25. So since I answered no here, I can skip to item number 25 already. Since I have never been a J non-immigrant exchange visitor. So for this next one is criminal acts and violations. For items number 25 to 45, you must answer yes if any questions that applies to you, even if your records were sealed and otherwise cleared, or even if anyone, included a judge, law enforcement officer, or attorney, told you that you no longer have a record. You must also answer yes to the following questions: whether the action or offense occurred here in the United States or anywhere else in the world. If you answered yes to items number 25 to 45, use the space provided in Part 14 additional information to provide an explanation that includes why you were arrested, cited, detained, or charged, where you were arrested, cited, detained, or charged, when the date occurred, the outcome or disposition, for example, no charges filed, charges dismissed, jailed, probation, and community service. So this is all about criminal acts and violation. I know this is a lot of questions, but you have to carefully read this and answer yes if it applies to you and answer no if it doesn't. And if you need to provide an explanation, just put it on part 14, page 14, part 14 additional information. So yeah, this is, you have to read all of this carefully. So this is a lot to read, so I'm not gonna be doing one by one on these questions. You just have to read it carefully and just say yes, select yes or no, whatever applies to you. So yeah, so let's move to other ones. So yeah, this is all about the criminal acts and everything. Killing any person, so no. Intentionally or severely injuring any person, so no. So all of those questions, you have to read it carefully and answer it honestly. So this is a lot, and yeah. So for part 9, accommodations for individuals with disabilities or impairments. Note, read the information in the Form I-485 instruction before completing this part. Number 1, are you requesting an accommodation because of your disabilities and or impairments? So no. So I just put no here since I don't need any accommodations. And then for this one, after all of those long questions, a lot of questions, so here we are on part 10, applicant's statement, contact information, declaration, certifications, and signature. Note, read the penalty section of the Form I-485 instruction before completing this part. You must file Form I-485 while in the United States. So you have to file your Form I-485 or the adjustment of status while you are here in the United States. Applicant statements. Select the box for either item number 1A or 1B if applicable. Select the box for item number 2. So for this one, I can read and understand English, and I have read and understand every question and instruction on this application and my answer to every question. So I just selected the A1, 1A, and then again, don't forget to fill this up, the A number, which is located on your NOAA 2 on top of the beneficiary's name. So applicants' contact numbers, you just have to provide your cell phone number here or telephone number if you have any. And yeah, just fill this up, and your applicant's email address. So just have to put your email address here. So you have to read this. Applicant's declaration and certification. Copies of any documents I have submitted are exact photocopies of unaltered original documents, and I understand that USCIS may require that I submit original documents to USCIS at a later date. Furthermore, I authorize the release of any information from any and all of my records that the USCIS may need to determine my eligibility for the immigration benefit that I seek. I understand that if I am a male who is 18 to 26 years of age, submitting this application will automatically register me with the Selective Service System as required by Military Selective Service Act. I furthermore authorize release of information contained in this application and supporting documents and in my USCIS records to other entities and persons where necessary for the administration and enforcement of U.S. immigration law. I understand that USCIS may provide me to appear for an appointment to take my biometrics, fingerprints, photographs, and or signature. And at that time, if I am required to provide biometrics, I will be required to sign an oath reaffirming that I reviewed and understand all of the information contained in and submitted with my application. And number two is all of this information was complete, true, and correct at the time of filing. I certify under penalty of perjury that all of the information in my application and any documents submitted with it were provided or authorized by me, that I reviewed and understand all of the information contained in and submitted with my application, that all of this information is complete, true, and correct. So this is long. So for A number again, don't forget to fill this up. Don't forget to fill this up. And then part 10, applicant's state, contact information, declaration, certification, and signature continued. So don't forget to put your signature here, the applicant's signature. Don't forget to put your signature here and your date of signature here. Because I've been seeing people getting RFE just because they forgot to fill this up. So don't forget to fill this up with your signature. And then note to all applicants, if you do not completely fill out this application or fail to submit required documents listed in the instruction, USCIS may deny your application. So part 11, interpreter's contact information, certification, and signature. So since I don't have any interpreters and I only did it myself, so I just put NA on the interpreter's name, and then mailing address is put NA here again, and then put NA here, and yeah, since I don't have any, put NA here, put NA there. And then for the next one is preparer's mailing address is put NA there again since I don't have any preparer's thing. And yeah, additional information if you need this for a reason or you need to add your additional information here, just put it here, and don't forget to put your A number here again if you need this page. So yeah, that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this will help you filling up your AOS or Form I-485 form. So thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you guys soon on my next one. Thank you.